Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable. Life could be a little bit dark despite the little chink of light at the end of the tunnel now. It's coming, but we're here to make sure we can bring you some light, some joy, because I'm again Bradley, who has 2 thumbs, by the way. He's still really ill, but in 1 year will be debt-free. Yay! And I'm joined again by the incredible, the wondrous Stu. How you doing, Stu?
I'm much better for that introduction. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's great news about the debt-free. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, I had my email confirming my DRO starts as of today, my debt relief order. So I can't take control of a company in that time, though, which is a shame.
Oh, boo.
I can't get credit for more than £500. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? I can't be involved directly. Promotion management or formation of a limited company. I don't think this counts.
No, all of your plans for the year ruined.
And Conservatives everywhere, obviously they can feel safe because I can't run for public office.
I know, that's a bullet dodged for them, definitely.
Yeah, I can't become the MHG party and go for Prime Minister.
Oh well, we're all missing out because of that. Everybody
want to do
loses.
that anyway. Jesus, I don't think I've got what it takes to do MPing. Especially the new Labour are happy to take in vile former Tories with shoddy past, but get rid of Diane Abbott for shaky ground and suspend another Asian woman for liking a tweet 14 years ago about Israeli occupation. So, yay for that.
Yeah, what a world, eh? Dear me.
Yeah. General election. It's going to be better, isn't it, Stu? It's going to be better. Come on.
It is. It will be. I mean, it probably won't be as good as we would like it to be and deserve, but I don't want to say it can't be any worse, but it can't really be any worse.
Rome weren't built in a day and all that.
Precisely.
So yeah, I don't know. It's trying to keep my head buried in the sand, but it's hard. You see sort of like kids in Gaza, and things just like losing parents, and the videos that go out of them in absolute tears is a horrible one. It really affected me only today. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I think just a young child who's just there. And I get why people have to film this, because we need to know in the Western world where we're so lucky, despite everything we've got going on, we're so lucky. This child looks about 9-10 years of age, crying because he's lost his dad, like his dad's dead in terms of lost his dad, and screaming, "What am I going to do now?" It's just like, Jesus Christ. That's just like slightly older, maybe the same age as my daughter, and it's not fair, Stu. It's not fair.
It's abysmal, and it's incredible that I think when there was World War One, and because of the sort of massive influx of conscripts and the fact that people from every walk of life were in it, and it was worldwide conflict, and it was so widely reported on, and so much information came out of it, and so many things changed for the positive in how society handled and viewed war, that to any backslide from that is incredible. But even added to that, like after Vietnam, which was the first kind of TV televised war, when you could see what was actually happening every day and people still happy to be complicit in that, is just it makes you feel really disheartened for the human race, even more so than you would normally be. And I don't want to feel like that. I do generally feel that most people are good. The majority of people are good and they care about the right things. But this is very disheartening and makes me really furious as well.
Yeah, it's... When you look... we know the reasons why it's going to be and why there's a differences. When you look at the outpouring of support and emotion for the victims of the Russia-Ukraine invasion compared to what we're getting now with Israel and Gaza... It's just like every step forward seems to be hit with 25 racist steps backwards. And it's just so horrible to see that we really can't, And I remember hearing people when they were talking about going, yeah, but they're like us. It could be us because they're Ukrainian and they're white. And that's people had that, it could be us. But little brown kids in Syria or Gaza or Iraq, wherever, no, they're not like us. And it's like, and I don't mean us, but I'm saying like me and you, like the overall us, that we are still so ingrained in racism and xenophobia that we don't care. We just don't care if someone's slightly different to us.
Yeah.
And one of the worst ones I heard was you would need to support the Ukrainians because their women are fit. And it's just like, really? That's where we are. That's where we are, is it? It's... but yeah. But anyway, as I said, we are here to try and bring you some light and joy. I'm not going to try and do a what do I call that thing that I do?
Segue?
A segue, because that's even I can't go from that to that. But we've been playing video games, Stu, to try and brighten our days.
Yeah.
And I've not been playing this war of mine because I think that would tip me over the edge.
What have you been playing?
There you go, say, because I've got more than you this week, so I was going to just go and go. So first one I've been playing, we're going to start nice and breezy, and a subject that just clears all our palettes. Do you play Ubisoft games, Stu?
Very rarely.
Nice palette cleanser there. So, do you know Ubisoft? They've got their Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the pirate ship, and they've done this Skull and Bones pirate ship game that's got loads of microtransactions in it and stuff like that. Well, what if you really fancy playing a pirate game, but you didn't want the Ubisoft bullshit? What if I told you, Stu, there's something out there for you?
Oh, I'd be intrigued.
Good. And it's called Seablip. It's by Jada Solly, a single developer, I believe. Might be a small team, don't know. Apologies if I've got it wrong. It's in early access, and it's an open world, pixel graphics based pirate game where you take control of a pirate ship, you go about the world, do as you please, and just be a pirate. There's different objectives you could do if you want to. You haven't got to. You could take on different bounties, things like that, steal treasure, whatever. Use your bounty collections or your treasure you find to upgrade your ship and have the greatest pirate ship in the world. You could land on islands, get to meet the inhabitants. Loads of little different things you could do. Fully featured, fully single player, not a bit of multiplayer in sight as it stands, and I'm hoping it stays this way. Literally, your ship, different things you could do at your own pace. It's a lovely little title. There's not much to say. I'm only a couple of hours into it, but I put it on the Steam Deck, and I've just had a lovely, lovely time with it. And what it does really well as well, I suppose, if there's any busy work that's got to be done in there, you can actually hire other sailors to do the busy work for you on your ship. So you can just focus on doing the bits you want to do. So you can go exploring and get your sailors to do other bits. It's not like you can get to do everything. It's not like Clickerwell, so there's unlimited amounts. There's a limited number of which you can use, but it works together really, really well. And one of the things you can do if you want is games. Always appreciate when games do this. Don't want to do any pirate stuff. Just go fishing. Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Up for that. But yeah, it's just a game of discovery. Not even survival. Survival's the wrong word. Just open world pirating. And I said it works absolutely wonderfully on the Steam Deck. Only early access. I think it's about £12. And yeah, it's just an absolute came out of the blue joy to play. So yeah, if you're interested in pirating and you don't want all the Microsoft nonsense or definitely the Ubisoft nonsense, I give this one a go. It's fun.
Lovely. Oh, that's great. You need these things so much, the rise of cozy games is testament to how much it's needed at the moment. That you get something, just joyful and that takes you away. So yeah, that's really cool. And it came out a couple of weeks ago, yeah?
Yeah. Apparently there is a bout that you can go for a Kraken, but I've not come across a Kraken yet. But it's the way I would describe it, if anyone wants to get an idea if they've not seen it and they've got the podcast, it's a pirate version of Stardew Valley in terms of how it looks. So, yeah, but without farming.
Of course.
You're looting and pirating. Not that sort of pirating, because the RSB or whatever will go, oh, no, you can't do that. Was it? No, fact. There you go, no, you can't do that kind of pirating. But this kind of pirating you can do, and for about 12 quid, you don't need to hit the high seas either.
Nice. Very good. Also, you can also have a Kraken Time with it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Why did I go farmer then? That wasn't pirate. That was more West Country. Yeah.
Oh, it was a little bit. I've got a really, really good pirate joke you've probably heard, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, what is a pirate's favourite letter?
R.
Nah, no. His first love be the sea.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
It's a good one, that, isn't it? Because you get two punchlines for the price of one.
Do you reckon farmers, do you reckon pirates did come from southwest England originally?
I have thought about this in the past and thought, is that what it is? Are they all from
They're not Somalians at all. They're from southwest England.
All of them. Yeah. Well, my wife's family and my wife are from there, and I can imagine them all as pirates, so probably.
Ask them. Go through their family history and find out how many of them were pirates.
100%.
I mean, they've got peg legs and they're called John and stuff like that, so...
They've all got black beards or blue beards, so... Yeah.
Apart from the ginger ones.
Yeah, that's right.
We're on to something there.
I think we've cracked it.
The Cornwall Pirate game, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, what have you been playing, Stu?
Well, I've been playing something very different from that, and very different from what I normally play. I've been playing a game called 1,000 Times Resist, or 1,000 Times Resist.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or 1,000x Resist, I don't know. It's one of them. Pick your favourite. And it's a strange one. So it's a kind of narrative adventure style game, narrative mystery. But it unusually for this genre, instead of it being first person, it's in third person, and there are some kind of slight puzzly traversal sections in it as well. It's one of those that you've mentioned on several podcasts. You can't really talk about it without giving the entire game away, which makes it a little bit challenging. But I'll tell you what, I'll do like a pre-spoiler bit, and then I'll do a spoilerish bit. And I'll mark it in the show notes. But yeah, the pre-spoiler bit is that, by and large, you're traversing in third person and you need to interact with people, and you can interact with the environment in certain ways, which are good. So it's kind of similar to the bits in shooting games where you're not shooting. There's plenty of that. There's plenty of lovely kind of graphical twists and tweaks so that it changes styles depending on the importance to the story, I would say. Which is a clever thing and isn't done all that often, because you normally get one style in a game and that's it. So that's nice. It's also got a very grown-up story. I would say adult, but that makes it sound like it's mucky, and it's not mucky. So it's got a grown-up approach to it, and it's got a lot of adult themes in it, grown-up themes in it. There's swearing, there's references to sex, but all done in a proper kind of grown-up way that you do not expect. So that's a nice surprise.
It's not gratuitous,
not at all, and there's no visual sexuality in it at all.
Why bother? That
I've seen anyway.
Why bother then, Stu?
I don't know. Why bother even buying the game if there's no knockers flying about? That's what I say. But and willies. But apart from the knockers and the willies, which there aren't any, it's. I'll go into.
It's our title, by the way, Knockers and Willies.
Knockers and Willies. In a sort of spoilerish kind of thing. It's not. These aren't deep spoilers, but spoil warning nonetheless. The kind of overall story is about displacement. It's about memory. It's about how you react to things, how people can become entrenched in their own behaviours and not learn from them, even when they're presented with the facts. It's very, very deep, very, very unusual kind of storytelling method for a video game. It's more like a novel. It explores, a lot of very deep and sometimes sort of challenging, maybe even painful themes for some people, which is, a really good thing. It's not something to be entered into lightly. And it's not, it's not crushingly difficult, but I've heard that a lot of people, do get upset playing it. So it's worth noting. It doesn't go out of its way to shock. It's not deliberately provocative, but it is, as I say, it has grown-up themes. And if you read a book that's serious and that is impactful to you, you can think of it like that. So, end of spoilers. Is it any good? Well, it is good. It plays well. Technically, it's really good. It works very well. Again, like Mad Jack last week, I'm a little bit surprised at the very high scores, just because I think at times it wallows a little bit, and by that I mean it could move the narrative forward much more quickly than it does, and I feel like it's either padding because they wanted to make it a substantial game rather than a 2 or 3 hour experience, or they didn't quite trust the audience and so had to repeat themes quite a lot. And whichever one it was, I don't think is a great choice. And it knocks it down considerably in my estimation because it makes it quite a large game where it doesn't need to be large. This is my personal opinion. For most people, it would probably be very different, especially people with more patience than me. If there's no gun in your hand or you're not jumping on things' heads, I get kind of bored after a little bit. But it's definitely worth checking out. It's completely unique, I would say, in terms of its content from what I've seen so far. And yeah, very strange. Look it up. Have a think about it. See if it's something you want to buy into.
I've got this. I managed to get it. It was in a bundle with Cryptmaster, which is a game I got sent a key for that I will be reviewing at some point in the coming weeks. So I managed to get this quite cheap, so I used some credit I had to pick it up. I just looked at the screenshots, heard people were going, oh, this is really good, and I went, oh, okay, I'll pick this one up. But looking at some of the things, I'm going, it's a bit like maybe a bit of a mix of Bayonetta and Nier Automata, looking at some of the video of it. Started it up, 20 minutes in, and went, this is not what I thought it was. Park that. I'll come back to it when I know what I'm actually getting into. Because it's not what I thought it was. But it does look interesting still.
Yeah. I think that's a really good attitude, actually, to sort of, if it's not what you're expecting, to back away and come at it at a different angle. And I was glad that I'd read beforehand that it can be, that it isn't what you would necessarily expect from seeing screenshots or even videos, Yeah.
It does look like an action third-person romp.
It does.
From some of the trailers and that.
Yeah, and from the visuals, it reminded me of Oni, if you remember that one, by Bungie.
Yes.
Yeah, about 20 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm going. Yeah, I kind of wasn't ignoring the story in the bits I'd done, but I kind of get me to the action. I want to see what the action is because that's what I thought it was, and then it wasn't happening. Then I realised what it was. So yeah, but sounds like it's good ideas. Needs honing a little bit would be the best way to put it.
I would say that's how I feel personally. As I say, I find it really hard to calibrate whether I'm on the right track with it. It's won all sorts of awards already. I reckon it'll be Game of the Year for loads of people. Yeah, it's strange. I would say, yeah, it's one to approach with caution, but with positivity and think, well, it's new, it's exceptional and different and clever. So, that should be supported. Just whether you click with it is the only thing that is up in the air. Yeah.
Well, you know me, Stu. I don't like using cliches, but I'll just say the world would be boring if we all liked the same thing.
Absolutely. And I want them to do well because even if there are flaws, it's worth it for something so different.
Yes, I'm always up for whether it's the best thing ever or the worst thing ever or somewhere in between. Different is always good. Trying new things is always good.
Precisely.
Talking of trying new things, what if I told you I've been playing a totally new game in a genre that you wouldn't be expecting me to play, Stu.
I would say that you were lying, but go on.
I've been playing a roguelike deck building card game.
Hey, I was right.
So anyway, no, I've been playing. It's called Zet Zillions, and it is a roguelike deck builder. And I've just been since Balatro. I've not found anything else that's really hit me, and I've been trying to find other things that might work. And this came across me, and it's kind of like an anime based card deck builder with like aliens and mechs and things like that, and essentially a Saturday morning cartoon style story in it, where you go through and you get this map you've got to follow like you would in like an FTL or Slay the Spire kind of thing, and each new bit you go to will give you, you've got to take on this enemy or this group and do your card thing, or you might come, there's something you can open, it will reward you. And as you play, it teaches you the different mechanics of the cards and how they all blend together. And this one's hook is almost, I suppose, do you know how the way sort of like these like futuristic superhero things of the 90s were, where it's like Captain Planet and everyone puts their rings together and they become more powerful, or Power Rangers and they can become a giant thing. But well, this kind of does it with the cards, where you've got these two different types of cards and you can put them together and get a more powerful card, and it does this rather than this, which is a really interesting mechanic, in all fairness. And I've played it for a couple of hours and it's enjoyable. It's story driven, which is fine, but the problem is with a story driven roguelike, something like Hades works because it's it gradually and slow burns its way through, whereas this is a distinct narrative, and I've got a feeling that I'm going to be done with it quicker than what I'd want to be. And I'm not sure on its own the mechanics of the game quite have enough for me to go, I'm just going to go back to this time and time and time again. But at the moment, I like the mechanics that I want to see the story through. I just don't know what it's got after that, which is a shame, but because I think it's well presented. The enemies are interesting, and they range from being easy minions to take down to difficult, like bullet sponges, or whatever the card's equivalent is, HP sponges, that you've really got to think about how you take them down. The characters are really cool, the writing's interesting, everything about it is enjoyable, and it's a really good game. I just don't think the longevity is going to be there, which is a shame. I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I'm hoping that the more I play it, the more I'll go, actually, yeah, I can see myself going back to this. But after a couple of hours, I'm still at once the story's done, I think I'm done, which is a shame. But aside from that, it's another interesting game. It's out. It's less than a tenner as well, so I'm not going to be overly disappointed if I only get a few hours out of it. But yeah, it depends, I suppose, what you want from these sort of games. If you want something that's long term, I don't think this is it. If you want something that's going to see you until the next one comes out, perfect.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, backing into that thing of it's difficult when you're in a crowded genre. Like we've said before, if one of these came out every 6 months and each one of them was excellent, that'd be something. But they're coming out every 3 weeks, and it's kind of,
they're all decent.
Yeah, they're decent, but competing for your money when it's a flooded market, that's really hard. So, and
especially when everyone's now just going, well, Slay the Spire 2's coming soon, so next year, so everyone's just waiting for that.
Yeah. Well, there's only so many, even if you love them, there's only so many of a genre you can play in a year, isn't there? And really appreciate them.
Especially these as well, because you've got to understand the mechanics. It's not just a case of, you could just play this one for an hour and then move on. You've got to learn the mechanics. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing to do. But you are tied to one or two at most, I think. And I think, like with this, like I play Slay the Spire and Balatro regularly because they're different enough that they don't trip over each other. Whereas this trips over Slay the Spire. which is a shame. And I've parked Slay the Spire to give this some time, to give Zet Zillions some time, and it's really, really good for what it does. But as I said, I don't think it's got the longevity to it to make it last beyond the few hours I'll play it for.
Yeah.
But it's Raw Fury again, and they're giving chance to games that otherwise probably wouldn't get the chance to get recognition. So yeah, good on Raw Fury once again.
Yeah, fair play to them. And the visuals look fantastic for me. I love that style. That's
really what sold me on it initially. Because there's other card games I played, like Hellcard, which is meant to be really good. I just can't get into it. It looked bland and I couldn't quite get to it. Whereas this sold me on the visuals alone initially.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to do. And not even because it's a load of power or grunts being thrown at it, just because it's great style. And you always like style.
Definitely. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to shut up now because I'm trying not to have a coughing fit. And I've got, it's a horrible picture. I've got snot and everything going everywhere at the moment. So I'm going to shut up now and let you outro, Stu, unless there's anything you want to add.
I'll let you cough. The only thing I want to add is I've been playing the demo of Gestalt, Steam and Cinder, which is something I stuck on my wish list. I don't even know how long ago now, probably about 3 years ago. It's a Metroidvania, and it looks really excellent. Played the demo. Demo is great, really good. It edges on the arcadey side of a Metroidvania, which loads of them recently have not. They've lent more into the Dead Cells roguelike style, which is fine and great, but it's nice to play one that's set up almost entirely as an action adventure slash, arcade style experience with very, very minimal kind of RPG elements in it. And it looks lovely. It's slightly sort of steampunk styled, but it's hand animated, sprites. Lovely looking game. Looks to be really good. It's not out for 6 weeks, but I'm really looking forward to that one. I've also been playing a game on VR that I'm not quite ready to talk about yet because I'm not 100% sure on how I feel and I need to stick a few hours into it. But let's just say it inherits the mantle of something that we all loved from the sort of early to mid PlayStation era, and really, really good to see it being attempted in VR. So looking forward to talking about that next week. But I'll just tease you with that for now. But apart from that, that's it for this week. Comparatively short one. So in the meantime, until next week, check out all of our content, join us on Discord if you wish to chat, and stay safe and stay sane.